Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August 9th meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh?
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends newspaper, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions that will promote the common good and general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Dreese?
Present.
Mr. Hurd?
I am here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mrs. Russell is absent. Mayor Florence Lynch?
Here. Okay, there are no presentations scheduled for this evening, so we're going to go to reports from volunteers serving our community. Are there any reports from volunteers? No? All right, next item on the agenda is public comment. Before we get to the public comment, I see some faces in the audience. I thought maybe some of you were here about the Birch Ave, the Birch Ave traffic question. We are not doing the striping, just so you know. So I saw the email today and I was going to reply, but I had talked to Adam first. So that striping is not going to happen, so I don't know if that's what you were here for, but we'd be glad to still hear you during public comment if that's what you would like to do, okay? But I knew there was a lot of people here. So, with that being said, public comment will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anyone does wish to come to the microphone, please come up, raise your hand, and I'll call you up and for your name and address for the record. Come on up. I'm going to just state your name and address for the record.
Richard Maccarelli, 29 Birch Road. Hi.
Hi.
So yes, most of us are here about the Birch Road thing. The traffic has been increasing greatly in the past probably 10 years. I've lived there for 29 years, and since the Google Maps and Apple Maps and Waze, it seems that Birch has become a cut-through street on these apps. So more and more cars are coming down, going to Chilton, and I know this because I work at Chilton.
Right.
But and we also wanted to see the possibility of maybe getting a four-way stop at Birch and what is that, Van Riper? No, that's David.
I'm going to, I'll let the town manager elaborate on that more, but I do know there's been studies done, and, I believe that it's not warranted. I know there's a lot of roads in town that are considered cut-throughs. I live on Park Ave, it's a cut-through as well, but I have heard the Birch Road issue come up for many years. So I'm going to let Adam just make a comment on...
I don't think I could do better than that.
On what we've... No.
Except the initial review, the warrants weren't met. That doesn't mean we're not going to continue to monitor and keep an eye on it. Unfortunately, with the grid layout and the community that you guys are much more familiar with than I am, there are a number of these streets.
right.
So we'll continue to do targeted enforcement. We'll continue to monitor it. If it looks like something changes, we'll revisit the issue. But right now, the four-way stop just isn't warranted.
Can I ask about the study that was done, the speed study? Was a speed study done?
There was a speed and traffic count study,
Right.
as well as a review of accident history and some of the other data that's required.
When was the speed study conducted?
I don't know off the top of my head. Within the last 12 months.
Right. Do you know how it was conducted? I mean,
I'm not ready to be cross-examined on it, no.
okay. I'm not cross-examining.
Yeah.
But the only thing I noticed in the past year was they put the signboard out there, because I live right on the cul-de-sac.
Right.
Right.
And 3 times the police department came out there, and I walked out, and I said, nothing is on. And they said, no, the battery's dead. And they left it there for 2.5, 3 weeks with the battery dead. So I was just wondering, I hope that wasn't the speed study.
There was data collected.
There was?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Maybe we should get one of those digital, your speed is this.
That'd be fair.
I know we move them
might
around town,
Yeah, that's
so.
that's
maybe
good. When
maybe
you
we
do
can recommend-
a true speed study, and you've
Yeah.
got a neighbor that could probably educate you better than I can, you actually don't even want to have anything up. You want it to be blind.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to monitor it and deploy things. And
I mean, you could put anything you want on my property, the sign, anything.
But maybe we can see if we can move one of those digital.
We'll
your-
rotate it around.
your
Yeah, we
speed-
do have those digital that we can rotate,
Yeah.
but there's only a few of them.
They have been out for a couple times.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Okay. Anyone else? I see someone else coming.
Here comes another law officer.
Hey, how are you? Dave
Hi.
Peterson, 3 Birch Road. I was just inquiring because in Montville, I was up there today, and Sherrill Road, which you know, I spoke to the traffic division and several other people, and what they did is they made a resolution, and then they adopted an ordinance, and they put 3-way stop signs up on several locations on Sherrill Road. One has 3 houses on it. I know it's not enforceable under Title 39, but if there's an ordinance that's made, that maybe something like that could happen, and they have LED flashing stop signs. Just throwing it out there, you know. It's something maybe you could look into. It's happening in other jurisdictions, and, you know, Montville Township's pretty much the same as Pequannock Township.
Okay, we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No one else?
Mike Bacosa, 22 Birch. I came in late, so some of the stuff I might say is repetitive. I, like everybody else, is probably against the double yellow lines and the white shoulder markings, just making it more of an urban feel. And I think enticing people to drive faster, because even at work or neighbors, everybody I talk to, you know, when I ask them, what do you think of when you see double lines, and it's like 40 or 35. So it's above the speed limit of 25 in our neighborhood. I read the report, I guess that was his March 30th by the engineer. It states in there that the stop signs are not a speed control device, but I think they're just like a momentum device. I mean, you have, I'm not sure the exact length of the birch, but if we can stop cars' momentum halfway through it, maybe we can keep them under that 25 or near it. I think somebody else mentioned birch is a convenient cut-through to avoid one of the lights on Jacksonville, either at West Parkway or Boulevard. I mean, nobody likes to sit at lights, so I'm sure everybody uses it as a cut-through. I don't mind using it as a cut-through, just keep it on the 25. Looking back, I pulled the Oprah to see if birch was ever a cul-de-sac in the 40s or 30s. I don't know if anybody here has grandparents or something that would know.
I was going to say, I wasn't around then. So.
Yeah. So I read in the report that Davis was the, quote, through street. So I'm thinking maybe Birch was a cul-de-sac, and when they opened it up, they left Birch the way it was as a through street and just never looked at the data or the traffic study going east and west on Birch. Maybe a stop sign would have been warranted back in 1950, 50 whatever. Back to the traffic study. I posted something on Facebook, I think it was June, I don't know the exact dates, but June 5th to June 12th, and the average speed was like 21 miles an hour. So with that, I know they put up a big trailer, and I talked to Sergeant Lyons. When you turn down Birch, you can see clear across the way. So I don't think that's an effective study, because once anybody sees that, they're gonna, you know, slow it down a little bit. I offer up my porch for any Pequannock police officer can sit there with the radar gun, come inside in the whole 8 hours. I'll feed them. If they want to, because I think an effective study would probably be on Davis, perpendicular to Birch, to catch. This way nobody sees it. But when talking to Sergeant Lyons, he said that doesn't clock people perpendicular, only, I guess, parallel. I guess in order of things, that maybe I'd like to, these are my personal opinions, not everybody, rebuild the cul-de-sac. I know it's probably out of the question as far as cost. A four-way stop sign, and I also opened Oprah to look at the data. I know this engineer mentioned he didn't examine the data. I don't know if he, I don't think he did. But in talking with neighbors, I did hear that there was two dogs killed on the street over the years. I sent you all an email with the video. That was an accident that occurred in, I think that was 2018. The pickup truck ended up on somebody's lawn on the corner. You know, God forbid there was any kids playing. I try to keep my kids in the backyard as often as possible, but sometimes they are in the front yard. My second option would be a four-way stop sign. Third, I'm not a big particular fan of speed humps or speed bumps.
They don't work.
Yeah.
He lives.
I'm on Tilly, and
I feel like you speed up to them.
Yeah.
Every time I turn around, I literally hear somebody clunk, clunk, and they take their exhaust out.
Yeah.
And it's just, I feel your pain, and I don't have a good solution for it. I'm looking on Google Maps right now. I do like the idea of the four-way, stop. I understand that the data didn't hit the criteria, but why can't we just put up stop signs? Adam, I'm sorry, this is for Adam. Is there like
Because there are specified warrants that must be met, and a recommendation should be made by the township engineer. Now, that said, if the governing body, as Mr. Peterson pointed out, wants to just put up an unenforceable stop sign, I would not recommend that, but that's legislatively within the governing body's
So
prerogative.
it really has nothing to do with cost.
No, it has zero to do with cost.
I mean, so
It's
here's the other
traffic
problem.
quantity, it's traffic speed, it's accident history,
And then that dictates.
and a few other things that I don't recall off the top of my head, and that dictates what intersection control, which is the opposite of speed control, what intersection control devices are accepted.
The biggest problem that we're all fighting is people don't pay attention nowadays. I've gotten hit 3 times already, 1 on a bike, 2 running. People don't pay attention. Whether it's on your street, in Montville, in Wayne, anywhere. And
You can't
sucks.
stop. Yeah, you can't.
We've had conversations about changing the stop signs over to the LED signs. They're relatively inexpensive compared to where they are, but then it comes down to, I don't want that blinking in my house.
That's what my neighbor said across the street. That's like,
Right.
that was number 4 on the list.
So, I mean, what do you do? I would love to have
Maybe
more
we can take
of the
over.
speed signs or have targeting enforcement, and we can do that. That's been done before. It's been done on Tilly. It's been done on other roads. But what I also seen is it's just like it's temporary. People will slow down, and then they speed up.
Yeah. So when you say targeting, I mean, I wouldn't want a cop posted there 24/7, or even, cops
That's
got to do their thing. They got to do
unrealistic,
other things, domestics, 23. That's why I feel like a stop sign is almost like a 24/7 cop in a way. It just slows people down all around. And when you mention, people don't pay attention, I guess kids now, it's the thing. When we come down Davis, they'll have their phone, maybe in one hand, a Bluetooth speaker on their handlebars, and they're going through
just
like,
going
in
straight.
packs.
Yeah.
It's like a motorcycle gang, but they don't even slow down on Davis. So there was like a couple of near misses, and with my camera, it was going off way too many times, so I pointed my camera down so I don't catch any of those, but maybe I should point them up and try to log all these near misses. Option 3 is I could actually do nothing. Option 4,
It's a horrible option.
yeah. 4, I know my neighbors won't like me, but yeah. A lot of them were asking to pave the road. I don't even want it to be paved. I would actually want more potholes, because if you put in potholes, people will slow down. And that's about it. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
It's not on the schedule to be paid.
Let's hope when the bike path comes in, most people just go on the bike path.
Yeah.
Hope they don't drive on the bike path.
No, I'm talking about the bicycles and stuff.
Dave Peterson again. Just to address the LED stop signs, as in Montville, if you go up that way on Connor and Cheryl, you'll see that the LED stop signs aren't illuminated. They have a radar unit on it or a device that detects it, and it only starts flashing when a vehicle enters the targeted area. So, something to look at, and it's only 3 miles away if you want to take a ride.
You said that's on the corner of Connor and Cheryl in Montville?
Yes.
Well, thank you. I'm sure we can monitor it. Sure, why not?
Rick Vanderway, 29 Birch. So I think you mentioned non-enforceable stop sign, that you don't need anything, permission from the state or anything like that?
That was what Mr. Peterson brought up, a stop sign that doesn't meet the warrants.
So why not just do that, and it would definitely have an impact on the traffic.
I wouldn't recommend it, and the municipal engineer would not recommend it, and it could create an issue with liability.
Okay.
Here's all these laws.
Most of the people just pay the ticket and they don't over everything. That's on old leads.
There's 3 of them.
All right. Are we good with public comment? All right, well, thank you for all your input. And obviously, we'll
And Mayor,
keep monitoring
I
it.
apologize, but Mr. Vicosa wasn't here when you said that it won't be striped.
Yeah, we're not doing the striping.
He wasn't here yet.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Won't strike never?
Won't be striped anytime soon.
Not anytime
Thank you for your time.
Have a good one.
Thank you,
You
guys.
want to come up?
You were good.
I'm good. He said everything I say.
Thanks. All right, so next item on the agenda is the manager's report. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, Mayor. I apologize, taking a quick sip. This evening, in my report, we have a few ordinances for public hearing and potential adoption. The first is the fee for the inspection of rental units for lead paint. We had significant discussion about that at the prior meeting at the introduction. If there's any questions at the time of the public hearing, I'd be happy to address those. We have an ordinance for introduction this evening to close out the recreation utility. As the council may recall, this has been a priority for a number of years. During the 2022 budget season, the rec utility budget was structured solely to pay down its existing debt. All other operations had been moved to the Recreation Trust, which creates greater flexibility, etc. So the ordinance closes that out. Any surplus funds from the recreation utility will be transferred into the Recreation Trust upon adoption of the ordinance, which, if introduced, would be scheduled for September. You have a resolution for your consideration this evening for the 3-year renewal to the Morris County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. This is our property casualty liability, public officials, employment practices liability, environmental coverage provider. Every year we have to do a renewal application. It's every 3 years that there's legislative action to do a new 3-year renewal. So I just point that out because it's something that doesn't often happen. If there's any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to address those. Next item, I mentioned this in an update to the council in an email, but we're incredibly proud of the fact that the Township of Pequannock has the first Department of Environmental Protection approved substantial damage management plan. In a nutshell, this is a clearly articulated plan of all houses that could be impacted by flooding and many data points entered into a large database so that if there is an event, a determination can be made in short order and the necessary designation given and procedures that the homeowner would then have to follow would be clearly articulated and ready to go. The council is aware, as I'm sure many people in the public are also aware, that we participate in the Community Rating System, or CRS, which currently we are CRS rated 5, which provides a 25% discount on anybody for their flood insurance. This will be a significant, presence of this approved plan will be a significant aid to becoming a CRS 4. We have one other plan that we have to prepare and do, but we hope to be one of maybe a handful or less towns in the state to achieve a CRS 4. So a significant kudos to Jennifer McCulloch, the flood resilience officer, who put in a tremendous amount of work. There are also other professionals and staff involved with this, but you know, it's nice when you're the first in the state of New Jersey for something that's positive.
Is that
Great job.
additional thing could be done quickly, or you think it's going to be a project?
It's going to be a little bit, it's a larger management plan.
Okay.
But this was a big,
Maybe by 2023, we might see the 4?
hopefully by 2023, we'll be able to make application during that process to get that
Perfect.
to 4 for potentially 24.
Well, great job.
And again, that would be very rarefied air. So it's people often ask, what is the township doing? And this is a great example.
But Adam, that would then equate to a 30% discount in FEMA insurance?
I don't know.
Okay.
Higher than the 25?
Better than 25.
Right. And it's, every year we have to work harder for it too, so it's
There's every
We've been
year there's
working
an
toward this for a
annual
very long
certification
time.
that has to be done, and when this was initially undertaken by the municipality, there were ordinances put in place and specific legislation associated with zoning and
Right.
what was allowed and wasn't allowed. And this is not a little thing. This is a cumulative effect of thousands of hours of work.
great job to everybody, and Jennifer, and I'm glad to see it.
Kudos.
Yes, and then the last item, which is kind of the other side of the mountain from the positive news of the substantial damage management plan, the township had 4 homes included in the 2021 elevation grant to FEMA, and that grant was not funded. Within my report, I go over some of the bullets that are believed to be the cause of that. Initially, there were 23 potential properties for inclusion. 8 expressed interest and responded accordingly. 4 of them participated. That's why the number was so low. But for a new metric, there was a social vulnerability scale included in the analysis. Community need type metric. And then we're also adversely affected by the fact that we haven't had a major event in 10 years. So when you have a major event within 10 years, that rockets you up the score, which is one of the things that's helped us so much. So that's
So you don't think it was just the number of homes?
No, it was certainly not. It's highly unusual for a community to be as successful as we have been over the period of time. Where most places put in for 2, 3, 4, 5 homes a year because they don't have the resources to do what we've been doing. In essence, what we've been doing is extraordinary. We've received roughly $20 million since 2016 to do this. So it's.
Is it because it was just so much more competitive then?
You have more natural disasters in more parts of the country. You have those natural disasters happening within the 10-year period. We look at Texas, we look at Louisiana, we look at North Carolina. Kentucky now will be in the mix. So it's a good news, bad news thing. It's good news, we haven't had a major event. It's bad news when you want to have your application score as highly as possible. Of those homes, some of the 4 will be included in the 2022 grant, which is being prepared and getting ready for submission.
Because we were pretty confident, though, that we were going to get that, weren't we? Or am I-
I'm never confident we're going to get anything.
No, confident probably.
We've been on a roll.
We work hard at it.
Yeah.
We put forth a very good application.
How many years in a row did we get it?
We got 15, 16, we didn't get 17, we got 18, 19, and 20.
Yeah, so,
And again, that
So it's
totals roughly.
nothing that-
Maybe it's our off year and we'll get it
right,
again
so
next
it's
year.
not so much lessons learned, it was more from a competitive standpoint.
It's the
nothing
matrix
to
they're
do-
using to analyze the applications.
Got it.
And, again, if an event within 10 years provides a significant portion, we're going to be adversely impacted by that because we haven't had an event and all these other places have.
Okay.
Which is a better thing.
Right, and we've been doing a
Correct.
great job, so still great job.
Yeah, we'll continue working on it. And yeah, there was no error, there was no omission, there was no technical problem with the application. Everything was aces. We received lots of compliments from the DEP and FEMA.
Great.
Just where it's scored. So unless there's any other questions, that is my report for this evening.
No other comments? Good. Okay. So next on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance number 2022-14. Ms. Marsh?
Ordinance number 2022-14 is an ordinance authorizing the acquisition by eminent domain of an easement interest in certain real property located in the township of Pequannock and required in connection with the Route 23 sanitary sewer improvement project.
All right, and is there any comments from the council on this?
No.
Nope. Okay, is there a motion to open the public hearing?
Go ahead, Ryan.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. Nope. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make that motion to adopt ordinance 2022-14.
And second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Treese?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. Next on the agenda is the public hearing on ordinance number 2022-15. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance number 2022-15 is an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Pequannock to provide for the administration of the requirement imposed by the state of New Jersey for lead-based paint inspections of certain residential rental dwellings and to establish fees for inspections.
All right, any comments from council?
Nope.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, if anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone. No? All right, is there a motion to close?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make the motion to adopt ordinance number 2022-15.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dracy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch.
Yes. All right, next on the agenda is the introduction of ordinances. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance 2022-16 is an ordinance amending Chapter 237 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Pequannock and dissolving the Township Recreation Utility.
Okay, Mr. Brewer, do you have any comments on this ordinance?
Once again, quickly, this has been something that's been discussed for a number of years. The recreation utility functions like the sewer utility, the water utility, or the garbage utility. It's a separate fund and creates certain constraints when developing and implementing new recreational programs. Operations shifted financially from the recreation utility for programs to the recreation trust beginning in 2021. We've seen extraordinary success with that. So the closing of this will finalize what has already been begun and eliminate additional costs associated with audits and other financial management.
Okay. Any comments on this?
Nope.
Nope. Is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on first reading?
I'll make that motion to introduce ordinance 2022-16.
And how about a second?
Second. You can have it.
Roll call.
Mr. Dracy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch.
Yes. All right, get ready, Carol. Next agenda item is resolutions, and we have quite a few. So, Ms. Marsh.
Beginning with Resolution R 2022-152, confirming the designated memberships in the Pequannock Township Fire Department. Those are firemen by the last name of Longo, Ayusa, and Velazquez. Resolution R 2022-153, approving the designated special event permit application. That's for the First Aid and Rescue Squad Benefit Concert. 2022-154, canceling unexpended general capital appropriation balances. 155, canceling grant fund balances. 156, authorizing the execution of a grant agreement with the Morris County Board of Commissioners. 2022-157, providing for summary proceedings in rem of 3 tax sale certificates as listed in the tax foreclosure list. 2022-158, authorizing premiums of foreclosed tax sale certificates to become township revenue. 159, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. 160, renewing membership in the Morris County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. 161, authorizing release of designated escrow deposits. And R 2022-162, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the August 4th, 2022 bill list and 2018 FEMA elevation escrow list.
Okay, are there any comments on the resolution from council?
Congratulations to the 3 new firemen, or
Yeah.
2 new firemen and 1 junior.
Absolutely. Is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution R 2022-152 through R 2022-162.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dracy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch.
Yes. All right, we don't have any items on the agenda for discussion, and there's no reports or notices, so we can go right on to council reports and announcements, and I'll start with Councilman DeRisi.
Thank you, Mayor. The committees that I'm on, the Historic Commission Committee did not meet. They didn't have a quorum. The Shade Tree Commission did meet, but they just kind of chatted, so nothing too adventurous there. A couple things that came up tonight. Congratulations to the town on the SDP. It sounds like we're leading the way, which is good. I like when Pequannock leads the way. As Councilman Cole mentioned, congrats to the new firefighters. I met Mr. Ayosa the other day. He was working on one of my job sites with his friend's father. So hard worker, and welcome aboard. Congrats to them. I'm really like this meeting once a month thing, Mayor. What can we do?
I'll second it.
And just once again, congratulations to all the Little League teams out there that played, that won. I know some of them went pretty far, which is great. And then watching it on TV now with the regionals is pretty cool. Watching 12-year-olds play on ESPN. So that's pretty neat. Junior Police Academy the town held. I got a couple rave reviews on that the police department did a great job, the fire department, first aid squad. Some of the kids you wouldn't think would like it, they really liked it. So congrats to all of them that ran that. Just a public service thing. There's a lot of people driving around stealing stuff. Lock your cars, lock your garages, don't leave them open. I know probably 4 or 5 people that got stuff ripped off, got cars stolen. It's a show out there. So just make sure your stuff is locked up. Even if you're in the backyard, don't leave your garage door open. We don't need any more of that stuff around here because they are driving around and they're always floating around somewhere. So, but I know Chief Community and his team are trying to keep on top of that the best they can. Hopefully everybody in the town council and Pequannock is enjoying their summer. More than half over. Kids get to go back to school soon. In fact, next time we meet, they should be in school. So get ready to go back to school. It's good. It's a good thing. And then just thank you to especially all the firefighters, Engine Company 1 and 2, First Aid Squad in town. Thank you for all you do. It's a lot of volunteer work, a lot of volunteer hours there. So thank you. Thank you. Mayor, that's all I got.
Thank you. And Councilman Hurd, let's go to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, John.
Thanks.
I'm just going to kind of piggyback on you. You said a lot there, so if you don't mind. Congratulations to the girls All-Stars. They did phenomenal. Boys All-Stars also did phenomenal. Congratulations to Pequannock Little League because they were able to host the 12U states here in Pequannock. And that,
awesome.
Within Little League, that's like a big deal. So,
sure was.
You know, that we have Washington Park 1 and the fields back there. I mean, it's just great to bring that free press to Pequannock and Little League. I know they worked very hard for it, so congratulations and kudos to them.
Yes.
Let's see, First Aid Squad, I wasn't able to make it. Maybe Greg would love to come up here and tell us all the wonderful things. I can tell you one thing, we need volunteers. So if anybody's out there that wants to volunteer, please go see them. We're always looking for new people. Open Space did not meet. That's really, you know, I do have one thing to kind of build on what John said, and it kind of goes to Adam. Is there an uptick in this ridiculous stuff of people breaking into cars? I literally, my Jeep is parked out there and somebody did try to get into the back of it, but I've got cameras all over the place. But then you see on different websites and all this stuff about people getting things taken out of their garage while they're there, stupid things like, what was it? You know, I don't know, not dirt and stuff, but it just, is something going on? Or is it just the world is going crazy? Or is it just...
I don't know if I have any empirical data, but I know through press reports and legislation that's being proposed, for lack of a better way of describing it, I'll call it a crime of opportunity. I think there's a lot of people taking advantage of crimes of opportunities, whether it's checking doors to see if they can get a wallet or spare change or a few dollars, or find a key fob inside of a luxury car. I know there was some legislation that was proposed to increase penalties for carjacking, because that's been something that there's an uptick. But yeah, there's, as Councilman Dreese mentioned, you do hear a lot about people who have a car in the garage that disappears at 3 o'clock in the afternoon while the lawn's being mowed. So, you know, to, again, Councilman Dreese's point, the first step that everybody's going to say is, don't leave your keys in your car. Sounds somewhat very simple, but if it's a game of statistics and people are willing to case neighborhoods, typically in vehicles that look like they fit in those neighborhoods, and if 1 in every 30 cars might have the fob in it, now that that's the popular way for cars.
And there are certain models that now that if the key fob is in it, the mirrors stay out. If the key fob is out, the mirrors
Crazy.
close in.
Yeah.
So if you're driving around town and you see that model and the mirrors are out, bingo, the fob is in that car.
People are definitely
People are
taking
just-
advantage of crimes of
Yeah.
opportunity.
And people are complacent, and they,
Well, and
they should.
I hate to say it,
Yeah.
Pequannock, but it's our own fault. And I don't mean that in jest. We have a phenomenal police force. But, generally nothing happens here, which is a good thing.
They can
But
be in and out in 2 minutes.
I'm
Yeah.
going to have to...
So quick.
There's a highway.
Watch some of the
Yeah.
videos, it's 2 minutes.
So don't forget, lock your cars, take your keys out of it. I'm also susceptible to that. This is a wonderful town. Let's keep it like that, but be realistic as well. And last but not least, things that I've been thinking about lately with the crazy world, because I think the world has absolutely gone crazy. That's my 2 cents. But I've really been focusing on faith, family, and freedom. That's really have been my focus over the last 30 and 60 days. And it's been great, hanging out in the pool, like you were saying, it's summertime. Let's have some gratitude for that. Let's have some patience with the kids. I can't always get patience. But faith, family, and freedom, I think, is very important. So that's all I have. Thank you,
Thank you
Mayor.
for your words. Okay. And,
All right, Company 2 met on July 14th. Nothing really going on at Company 2, but it was a good meeting. The library 25th anniversary concert, which was on 7/15. I tell you what, those 2 guys were pretty good.
they sure were.
So Angela and I went. We brought a little sandwich dinner, and it was nice just sitting there. I think we should do that.
Yes.
Maybe throw a concert next summer or something.
I'd love to see you on stage.
Dave, are you
That'd be
singing?
awesome, Dave. Yeah.
You singing?
No, not me singing.
Oh.
I think
I
we
thought
should,
you-
That's what I thought.
bring a band in and
They were
have
great.
it,
They were great.
It was. Those 2 guys were really good. Off the council thing, but on 8/3, I handed out treats to the staff on the 4th floor at Chilton as part of my Community Advisory Board member for Chilton, so that was nice, going up on the 4th floor and wheeling around a cart of goodies for everybody that works there, so that was nice. But like everyone said, I went to the final game on July 30th for the 12U Little League All-Stars. Congratulations to the executive board, the volunteers. I hear there was 2 volunteers that were really instrumental in making it successful. Chris, and I'm probably going to mess up her name, Chris Faunin and Colleen Fazekas. I guess they really ran the snack stand. Did a great job. Congratulations to all the teams that are playing. It's great to see, Tom's River, who won here in Pequannock. They're going to be on ESPN, I think, tomorrow night. So, and the fields looked great. And, it was a great crowd for the last game. So, and the last thing I wanted to say is just best wishes for our cameraman, Frank. He's going to have a little medical procedure done tomorrow. I know he's a little nervous, but positive thoughts for Frank tomorrow.
You got it, Frank.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go get them.
That's it.
All right, thank you. All right, most of this was said already, but a couple of things I just wanted to bring up. I had the honor of throwing the first pitch at 2 Fridays ago at the state championship Little League tournament. So that
you
was
reach the plate?
I did,
All right,
and
all
I even threw it overhand.
Which, forgive the interruption, there were 3 other municipal officials that participated, and
Yes.
2 of the other 3 did a great job of getting it to the glove. I'll leave the 4th nameless.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. And, we had so many people from other towns, as Dave mentioned, that they just were like in awe of our fields. They said, we love playing here in Pequannock at Washington Park. Your fields are phenomenal. So, kudos to DPW staff. They do a tremendous job on those fields. And all the volunteers and what came from Little League and from our town. That's just like unbelievable. So that was a lot of fun. I also had the privilege of going to the 25-year concert at the library. It was their Friends of the Library hosted 25 years celebration of the library at that location, and the concert was great. the council did a proclamation for them, and it was a really beautiful night, so that was nice. It really was.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be able to do more. Maybe the town can do some of that in the future, because that one was hosted by the Friends of the Library. What else? I mentioned last time that we're going to have a Division of Motor Vehicle event here in town, and we're just waiting. We should get some flyers and media, social media stuff to put out shortly. So that event is going to be September 15th from 9 to 3. It's basically a mobile motor vehicle unit that will come to Pequannock for the day. The event will be at PV Park. The commission will take appointments in advance for that day on a whole host of services, but the main demand is for those real ID driver licenses, but they only take like 15 appointments for those.
But it's not open yet, correct? Like, I looked for real ID and stuff, and I didn't find anything about Pequannock and that day, so it's not.
Yeah, I guess we're going to be advertising it, but it hasn't been out there yet. I called today to, just
Get
say.
one in Wayne at the DMV, but
I know.
what a nightmare that is.
So.
Great. Took me 2 days to get.
So, well, hopefully we'll be putting stuff out any day on it. So, anyway, what else? So look for that.
Handed in my stuff, 4:30.
What else did I want to mention? Oh, I received a call today. Put this on your calendar. We'll be doing Unico will be hosting the 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony. It'll be right here in front of Town Hall. Starts at 5:30. We should be done by 6:30. So, I hope to see a lot of people at that. I don't know if that's something we could put on the sign we have in the past.
It always is, yes.
Yeah. So that would be nice, because the community really likes that. We all come together to remember those we lost that day. And last but not least, because I think the last time we met was early July. As most of you know, we lost a dear friend and a former mayor of our community, Ruth Spellman, who served our community for many, many years. She passed away on July 21st at 89 years old. She was a volunteer in our community for many years. She served on the town council, was the mayor for many years, numerous times, served on the school board, library board, and many other positions. And she always volunteered her time and energy in such a selfless way for the benefit of our community, and she will be missed. Our thoughts and prayers are with her family. You might have noticed the purple bunting that's still up in front of the steps of Town Hall, and that's to honor her. Okay? And other than that, that's all I have. That's it. All right. Next on the agenda is public comment. If anyone would like to come address the council, raise your hand. Oh, come on.
Michael Vacosa, 22 Birch Road. I want to start off by saying thank you for deciding not to paint the lines. I figured since I was here, I jotted down some things that I'm thinking about and always mean to come here and say. Is there any information about brown water in the last like three weeks? I know I contacted, I think it was David of DPW, and he said they turned on the Newark plant, and I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but the turbidity, the clearness of the water, and it should go away, but it's clear for a couple days and then it's back. I don't know if anybody has any.
I haven't seen it.
Nothing?
I haven't seen it, but I know there was some issues with
You
the
nailed
sediment.
it. Newark shut down the plant, and typically what we would do is we shut our valve, and when they shut down the plant, the water sits, so the sediment accumulates, and then it comes to the system. The reason it comes and goes is because the best analogy for the water system is a circulatory system like your body. So things flow and they come and go, and pressures rise and drop.
Okay.
So it can be unsightly. It is not a health issue at all. It's perfectly safe to drink.
Okay.
Just like when we flush the...
hydrants.
Yeah.
But it's
There's
bizarre
a much
because it
bigger
happens,
scale.
it happens, you get the answer, it goes away, and then 3 days later it happens again.
Yeah,
It's
it's
the
clear.
same incident, it's how the system is working
Okay.
itself through.
don't know if it's on the, in the grand scheme of things as far as Parks and Rec, Greenview tennis courts, is there any way, I think there's 4 of them there. Any chance?
There's 6 of them.
6 of them?
3 of them are going to be redone this year, 3 of them are going to be redone next year. The 3 next year are going to be basketball courts.
Okay, we're having pickleball.
Read in my mind?
Yeah, the
Okay.
3
I was
tennis
gonna
courts
say-
are going to be a combo, pickleball, tennis.
Okay, yeah, because a bunch of guys I play with in town, we play in winter at Drace, whatever, and we're always talking about, let's have one good court in town. That's good, good news. Thank you.
Come.
What's that?
It's coming.
Yeah, I'll wait. There's a water fountain in Greenview Park, the blue one. Hasn't been turned on in a while. We're looking to turn that on.
The one near the bathrooms works, but it's a much lower flow of water.
Look at that.
Sure. The blue one is easier to use.
Yeah.
Fill
That's
the water
the one that
bottles,
doesn't
just never on.
work? He's gonna.
That's the one that does work.
All right,
Blue
we're gonna
one.
look at that.
And to add on Councilman Dreese's comments, this past Saturday, I saw a suspicious vehicle, called into the license plate. It was a BMW SUV. They ran the plate, came back to a Toyota Camry. So, I always thought, this is like a public service announcement, whatever, lock it goes. But if anybody's listening out there,
If you see something, say something.
you see something, and I was really on the fence, and whether I call it, am I gonna be one of those people that's like, crybaby, but it turned out to be something, so.
Well, and you're right, they are driving nice cars.
Yeah.
The guys that come are driving nice cars.
So, it was
They're not junkers.
three occupants, and I'm sure 2 of them go out and
Yeah.
check whatever they can go and.
And most of the kids that run out are 16 years old, so if they ever get caught, they don't get prosecuted, so.
And like I said, they said, we're easy on, easy off,
Yep.
23, that's what he said.
Yeah.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No?
Sharon, it's been a long
Sharon,
time.
okay.
Hey, stranger.
Well, Sharon's coming up. Can I ask you something I forgot to ask about Channel 77? Were you looking into that? Oh. We'll talk
Good evening,
about it.
Council. Sharon Taylor, 19 Libby Avenue, Pompton Plains section of Pequannock Township. So some of the walkways I noticed are getting a little deteriorated. Right after Birch on West Parkway, there's a pothole, like a sinkhole in one of it's like the 3rd block of the walkway on the right-hand side. But it's been that way since winter time. So I guess one of the questions is, who's checking all the walkways in town? So we did all this beautiful work in town, spent all this money, and now some of it's getting deteriorated. I know we rely a lot on residents, but who in town is supposed to be checking all the walkways?
Someone must know about that one because there was an orange cone in it. I don't think it's there anymore.
Sharon, I'm sorry, where was that?
It's
Parkway
the
and
3rd,
Birch.
it's like the 3rd walkway block
Okay.
on West Parkway right after Davis. No, not Davis, Birch.
That's where they run with that rotary.
But it's been like that since winter, and there was a cone over it. I don't know if people called, but I just noticed there was some chime about Birch being 2 lanes, double lane.
I noticed it appeared right after the tree
We
got
definitely
cut
need
down.
to look at that.
Yeah,
think
I don't
that's
know,
where the
but it
rotary
is a
ran.
deep sinkhole. If you can't put in a brand-new walkway, just can you put some gravel and sand and even it out? Because a lot of people walk around and just look at it. And then, obviously, some of the walkways are starting to get cracks in them. Grass is growing up through them, so.
Okay.
And then another question is, I know that you were talking about safety in this township and theft and all, but why do you think that happens? We can have all the cameras in the world, but there has to be more presence. So if that's the case, maybe there has to be more crime watch, maybe there has to be something happening in town, not just for residents to call in, but more presence on the road. I don't know, we live in a residential area within, I get it, major highways, but it doesn't give anyone the right to come into this township to break into anything. There's a lot of elderly people. We always talk about children, but there's a lot of elderly, single people, people with disabilities, and you know what? They don't have anyone helping them, and you get somebody like that coming in this township, there should be more presence. So I know we use a lot of cameras, but there needs to be more ground presence. And I think there used to be police officers used to have mountain bikes, right? There used to be something donated to them to ride their bikes more. I think that's stopped, but I think there just needs to be more presence in town. It's happening quite often, and people are posting it, and you have neighborhoods with young kids outside playing. They're trying to enjoy parents shouldn't have to worry about their kids in the street and people coming by taking pictures or videotaping, and, I saw kids with lemonade stands, and like, they're out there with signs, and God forbid you get somebody coming in with crime like that, and that's the worst thing that you need. You don't need any more bad accidents or anything's happening in town. So I just think cameras are great. It's great that we have them, but there needs to be more ground presence. So I know at one point there was a lot of neighborhood watches, a lot of presence in town, and maybe that this township has to start saying it's not welcome. And if there's 16 doing it, Mr. Uzdek, I don't know. I mean, you're a lawyer, but I would take it if somebody's using a 16-year-old that they should be prosecuted like anybody else that's an adult doing it, right?
It's an issue and it's being looked at and talked about.
Yeah, and then also with solicitors, I know at one point a few years ago, there was a lot of solicitors in town. It's happening again. No for sale sign on someone's door, and they're knocking on someone's door saying, hey, are you willing to sell your car? Hey, are you willing to sell your house? It's not for sale. If it's for sale, somebody will call you. But I think maybe looking at that ordinance and getting a little bit tight, it doesn't give anyone the right for solicitors to just come up to people's homes. I just noticed, I know Mike is very vocal in the neighborhood, he comes to these meetings, but, it's happening, we're in a residential zone, so there should be no commercial businesses, there's certain businesses like that are happening. If it's a residential zone, it should be residential neighborhood, and I think there should just be more presence on the street. So,
Thank you.
that's it. Anything else? You good? Okay, see you guys later.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you, Sharon.
Yeah, nice seeing you too.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. All right. If we're done with public comment, next is the approval of minutes. We have minutes to approve for July 12th, 2022. Are there any comments on the minutes?
Nope.
Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from July 12th, 2022.
Second? All in favor?
Can I do that?
Aye.
Being that I was with the phone?
Yeah, you were
Yeah, you were here. Okay, all in favor?
President, as well to do that, right?
Yes. Is that right?
Yes.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, good. There's no items listed for closed session tonight, and
Motion to adjourn.
we can adjourn. All right, meeting adjourned at 7.